the Director of Electric Vehicle Programs, Jeff Myram. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, thank you, Bart. Thanks for having us on today.
Yeah, good to see you. Welcome back. And I understand, I know you have electric vehicles. Did you drive one here?
I absolutely did. Yeah,
Awesome.
we only have electric vehicles in our house, if you can believe that.
Really?
Yeah.
So you are a two-car family?
Two-car family. My youngest son just turned 16. He's going to drive my car because my wife doesn't want him to drive her car. So he will also be driving electric from the get-go.
Awesome. Yeah. So how are we doing as a society, as a country, in adoption of the electric vehicles?
So they're picking up really fast. Mm-hmm. We've seen a tripling of electric vehicles in the last 3 years within Consumers Energy's territory. And we're also finding that about half of consumers are actively considering an EV for their next car. Now, of that, maybe 30% or so will actually buy an EV, but interest is really picking up.
So a lot of people have seen, they've heard about, they've seen the charging stations, but to actually be behind the wheel of an electric vehicle, not many people have done that.
No, very few people have. And you were just speaking about Mother's Day, and let me tell you, the weekend after Mother's Day, we are doing a ride and drive event. So this is for any Consumers Energy customer who wants to come out and might be a little bit EV curious. You can get behind the wheel of a vehicle for about 15 minutes, 2 different test drives that you can do with 2 different vehicles. And you can ask us any question you want about EVs and charging and how we can help you make it easy.
Well, I had the advantage of going on a ride with your CEO, Garrett Rochow, on, I think, a couple months ago, in an electric vehicle, a really cool F-150 Lightning. He didn't let me drive it, though.
Oh, well, now is your chance. we will have a Lightning there. We will have a Mach-E. Also a Hummer, if you really want to drive the biggest of the EVs that's out there. Also a Model 3 and a Model Y. So really a wide variety of vehicles that people can test drive.
Now, one of the things that struck me in this vehicle, because big F-150, I think it's going to have just a supercharged engine, loud, but it was super quiet.
They're so pleasant. Yeah, absolutely so pleasant to drive. I think that surprises people because there's quiet, but there's this amazing performance with the torque. And even in winter, there's no warming up of the engine. So you can immediately get in and get heat and immediately have that perfect traction control with those vehicles.
This process is what I think scares a lot of people, is the charging. It's like, what if I run out of juice and there's not a thing around? What do you say to people about that hesitation, range and charging and all that? That's
a really common concern. I drive over 20,000 miles a year electric, and so I've got a lot of experience with charging. And I'll say that 80 to 90% of your charging is at home. So you go home from work, you plug in your vehicle. You don't have to stay up to plug it in at 11 p.m. We can help you program your vehicle and/or your charger. So all you do is get home, you plug in, literally takes about 30 seconds. The next morning you wake up with a full battery of electrons, and you're all set. So it's much easier than people think. And then for the road trips, the infrastructure is getting better all the time. We're seeing a fast charger about every 50 miles that will be built in Michigan within the next 2 years. In fact, we've helped 60 fast chargers come to fruition already in our state. And that's a process that we can also help you walk through at the Ride and Drive.
And at this event, people can do all of that, learn everything they ever want to know about the electric vehicles. And you want people to register for the event?
We absolutely would love people to register for the event. We have a QR code that folks can utilize. You can also email us at PowerMyDrive, that's Power MI Drive, at CMSenergy.com.
And no cost for the event, just come out and hang out.
Absolutely free, and if you have another 16-year-old or older, they can come in and they can sit in the back seat as well, so you can get more members of your family or your friends to enjoy it as well.
Now, being the dad of a teenager, what's the buzz amongst the kids about electric vehicles?
It's the performance. So the 0 to 60 can be quite good, which as a dad might make you a little bit nervous. However, there are EVs out there, particularly on the used market, which are a little closer to 7 or 9 seconds, a little more reasonable.
Oh my gosh. Now, Garrick mentioned when he's on the road and he has to charge, he'll walk around Myers or something because there's a time is that getting shorter and shorter that it takes to charge?
Yes, if you're going to a fast charger, let's say you're on a road trip, a lot of Myers and other big box stores will also have these fast chargers. And so It might sound intimidating at first to think, oh, that's going to take 20 to 30 minutes to charge. But if you think about the time to get your family in and out of the car, everybody uses the restroom, grabs their snacks, and come back. I've found in my experience in the last 5 years driving EV that usually the car is waiting on my family as opposed to the car waiting or us waiting on the car.
And that's typically where you'll be doing on the road charging is on long road trips.
Absolutely. If you're doing a trip of more than 200 miles, you'll likely hit a fast charger. So if you're driving up to Mackinac City or Traverse City or some other great location in Michigan, that's when you will likely hit one either on the way there or on the way home.
And you're putting these all over the state.
We're absolutely helping a lot of convenience stores as well as Myers and other large box stores put them in their parking lots as we speak. We have over 70 projects in progress right now.
Now, are there different, I think about the old thing about VHS and beta. There's two different formats. Are there more than one format on the charging?
So if you buy a previous EV, like one made this year or a prior year, you will have a different plug than what's coming out in the future. However, there's adapters for that, and that's one of those areas that we can help walk you through and actually show you those adapters and how to use them at the event. Starting next year, every model year of vehicle is basically moving to the North American Charging Standard. That's a little wonky for a name, but it means you're going to have one plug that you can use for your vehicle, and those adapters will be less of a concern.
Even the Tesla people?
Yes, even the Tesla people.
I think the governor at her State of the State was talking about she's bullish on electric vehicles, and she's offering. I think there are hopes to include some sort of incentive from the state. There's federal and even company incentives.
Absolutely. So on the federal side, there is a $7,500 tax credit for some vehicles that you can take right off the hood price, which is a fantastic deal for customers. For our perspective at Consumers Energy, we can offer a $500 rebate for the installation of the home level 2. Now that's the vast majority of charging we were just talking about, that 80-90% that you'll do overnight. In addition to that, we have a $10 a month incentive for a year if you only charge in that super off-peak time period. So that's $620 in potential incentives that you can get, and that off-peak rate is equal to $1.30 per e-gallon, which is a lot better than you're going to find on the street.
Well, the other incentive, I just filled my car yesterday. I think it was $3.75 maybe a gallon. What does it cost to power an electric vehicle?
So if you're charging at home, it will depend on the size of your battery, but I'd say somewhere between $10 and $14. So that's pretty cheap for 250 plus miles with an electric vehicle.
Oh, wow. So each time you charge, $10 versus $60 for a gallon for a fill up of gas.
If your battery is at a very low state of charge. Now most people will just plug in every day, and so they're doing a small fraction of that. But what we find is if, let's say you're spending about $1,500 a year in gasoline, which would be about the national average, you'll probably spend $600 to $700 in electricity. So you'll easily cut that in half.
Oh, wow. And there are places that it's free or reduced based
Yes.
on, I think, maybe the place where you charge, they might offer a deal, right?
Absolutely. Your workplace might have charging, your community might have charging, and we have rebates for those programs too. So if you're a local government or you're a business looking for workplace or overnight charging for your residents or while they're working, it might not be overnight, we can help with that as well.
So what about your road to being an electric vehicle fan? Were you a skeptic at first?
So about 5 years ago, I had this fascinating opportunity. I was working with the customers renewable team at Consumers, and we knew that electric vehicles could be a really significant residential load, and we wanted to have a load management program and help people with this transition. And so I got the offer to say, hey, would you like to help start up the electric vehicle program? And as part of that, I got to drive a Chevy Bolt for about 3 years, all around the Lower Peninsula, and got really familiar with that vehicle. And so by the time my car was worn out, my old car, I was very familiar and easily able to make the transition.
All right. Well, we want people to sign up and get ready for Saturday, May 18th at Airport Road, Meyer. Here's the QR code for getting signed up. And there is a limit on how many people you can handle that day too, right?
Absolutely. We have 250 spots and about 100 of them are already taken. So definitely act quickly on that QR code.
self-driving and autonomous vehicle, do people get confused? It's all one thing?
Those are different features. There won't be any self-driving at the Saturday, May 18th event, but there are some vehicles that are getting more and more capable of that.
Awesome. Well, great. We'll see you on May 18th, and thanks for coming in today.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Bart.
With electric vehicles coming to a special event on May 18th, Director of Electric Vehicle Programs at Consumers Energy, Jeff Myram. Stay tuned.